Yes, that's what he wanted. Initially he wanted.
So many people here goes to Dr. Gopalkrishna.
Greetings all, namaskar. It is a pleasure and a privilege to have the opportunity to speak to you today. And I would like to thank Dr. Gopalkrishna, Dr. T.V. Sairam, and especially Meena Gupta, who made this possible. This is a very exciting time for both the fields of music and for psychotherapy. And in fact, many other academic fields and practices as well. The advances in technology to date have given us unprecedented ability to transcend great distances. And I might even add not only distances in the static present, but now going back to the past and into the present with the research we were able to access. We can call on the phone halfway around the world and even see each other through Skype video calls. We can share sounds and music and images via the internet, communicate via mobile phones from the car while in transit. What does this mean for music and for psychotherapy? New opportunities to share and communicate, to access knowledge, old and new. We can consult with foreign colleagues. We can make new friends that we have yet to meet in person. We can quickly locate information in areas we have little experience with. And we now have a vehicle to integrate diverse practices, theories, and experiences. And we'll be seeing a lot of integration at this conference in the next couple of days. My particular interest has been the integration of biofeedback and music in the service of a clinical goal. I call it bio-guided music therapy. However, there are many different ways it can be framed. And I've already talked with several of you informally who do similar things and go about it in different ways.
Harivarasanam Vishwamohanam Hariradhishwaram Aradhya Padukam.
Bio-guided music therapy is the use of real-time physiological data to inform live music therapy intervention. With this information, the brain can learn to access body functions previously not under volitional control. The process is all about learning self-regulation through self-awareness. There's nothing new here, especially in India, where traditional healing through the journey of self-discovery has been around for thousands of years. And I'll be learning about this from all of you during my stay at the conference. There's a great story I read in Fuller's book, Biofeedback, back in the 60s. The story goes that Swami Rama came over from India to the States, and when he left to go back to India, he brought with him a massive suitcase with $10,000 worth of biofeedback apparatus in it. He explained as he left, "What took me 20 years to learn through meditation, I can teach my students in 2 weeks with this equipment." Recent research is showing us that music can impact brain function. Endogenous dopamine release in the striatum was found during peak emotional arousal during music listening from Sairam 2011. Structural brain changes were found after only 15 months of musical training in early childhood, which were correlated with improvements in musically relevant motor and auditory skills, Hyde 2009. And Jung 2009 at the University of Zurich found musical experience can change gray and white matter densities in the brain. We've got a picture coming up that shows a scheme of brainwave bandwidths, and we'll put a particular attention to theta in the 4 to 7 hertz range, which is associated with imagery, music creative process, music making. However, in the context of ADHD, which is my specialty, theta is related to spacing out and not paying attention. In addition, we're also interested in sensory motor rhythm, SMR, at around 14 hertz. You can continue the slide if you can move it forward. Yeah. Moving forward. Sensory motor rhythm has the interesting distinction of being a low beta, so is related to cognitive tasking and executive function, but also has the effect of reducing motor activity as SMR increases. And this makes it an excellent choice for training ADHD children. There's our brainwave chart. In an NIH mini-grant pilot study that I worked on in 2005, hold this slide for a while, we'll be looking at it. We introduced ADHD children to a protocol of theta reduction and SMR increase by assigning musical tones to their theta brainwaves in key with a selection of background musical pieces. There was a range from Bob Marley to Vivaldi. So as their theta increased, their tones moved up in the scale relative to the background music and down. Pre-music neurofeedback, and here these are post-music neurofeedback brain maps, where we see the normalization pattern. Green is normal, red is 3 standard deviations above the norm on these Z-score charts. You can see even the theta range is moving down slightly into the blues. So with the theta reduction training, they're really being able to reduce that brain pattern of spacing out and inattention. You can move to the next slide. I point out that we're not trying to get rid of theta. We're just trying to teach them repertoire and how to control it in circumstances where they may want to learn, or they may want the benefits of cognition, cognitive tasking, and executive function associated with higher levels of the betas in the faster brainwave rhythms. This is a training screen, and there's a Star Wars video over here that animates when theta at 4 to 7 hertz is below threshold. The object is to reduce theta and keep the movie rolling, as well as increase SMR, sensory motor rhythm here. We have running averages, theta, sensory motor rhythm, and a measure of muscle tension, which can interfere or introduce artifact into the signal. Next slide. And you can see if it plays a little bit. If you click in the center. Okay, we can't hear the music at the same time, but you can imagine musical tones going up and down with this theta bar in key with Steely Dan in the background. I'm going to make a jump here, jump in time. I'm going to go back into the history of Western psychotherapy and take the liberty of suggesting some possible musical forms that parallel some of our most basic premises and processes in psychotherapy. Moving forward, next slide. Sigmund Freud, major contributions, the conscious and unconscious mind, id, ego, and superego, life and death instincts, psychosexual development. And I could move forward. This chart shows different musical functions with brain areas. I have got a handout online. You can look at this all on your own time from biofeedback.net, and you can click and get the handout. So we can move forward as we have precious time here during this presentation. And moving forward, chart showing the progression from a raw EMG signal into musical notes. So some musical processes that might accompany the Freudian contributions. Think of free association. What might that bring musically? Free musical improv, free expression, without tie to scale, raga, jazz chord sequence, completely free musical expression. Conducting and musical maturity, becoming more mature or experienced in our musical expression. Carl Jung considered individuation a psychological process of integrating the opposites, including conscious and unconscious, while still maintaining their relative autonomy, necessary for a person to become whole. Individuation is the central concept of analytic psychology. Here, analytic psychology emphasizes the value of one's creative forces and one's development toward wholeness. Sound a little like the Bhagavad Gita? Journey to liberation. Introverted and extroverted personality types. Archetypes. The collective unconscious. Individuation. Here we go. Here's our slide. So what musical processes might parallel? Music for the self versus music for audience. Referential musical themes. Playing the king, the mother, playing the sounds of birds. Channeling music, or being guided by spirit. Music from the inside out. This is playing music from your experience, from your passion, from your spirit. And improvisational soloing. Australian medical doctor and psychologist Alfred Adler, best known as the founder of individual psychology, brought us the importance of birth order in the formation of personality, the impact of neglect or pampering on child development, the notion of self-perfecting drive within human beings, and the idea that one must study and treat the patient as a whole person. Individuals create a fiction or story about themselves in childhood that guides their perceptions and choices throughout life. And finally, the ability to work with others for a common good was the hallmark of sound mental health. Again, the ability to work with others was the hallmark of sound mental health. So, musically, playing music in a group, and again, improv soloing, working musically with each other, shows us these processes translated to musical form. Getting down toward the end here, we have two more. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have a nice chart here, really progressing to self-actualization. I'll allow you and our audience to make the jump to the Vedas and the Yoga Sutras. Improv soloing and musical meditation are what we call some parallel musical forms. And finally, moving into humanistic psychology, Carl Rogers, best known for unconditional positive regard. We have musical mirroring, musical witnessing music, appreciation, listening and taking in music, listening to ragas for therapeutic healing, playing in groups with mixed experience levels and making it work. And down the bottom, you may not be able to see pure emotional expression through music. Music takes us on a mind-body spiritual journey that impacts our sat, knowing, inigna, and doing. The aim of yoga is the transformation of man from his natural form to perfected form, Ravindra 78. And the very process of engaging in music allows for the possibility of mental and spiritual healing. Let's listen to Lynn one more time come up with the voice in shruti, and we may catch a glimpse of some of these psychological processes from expression to soloing, hearing the ground and the sky, and even a little bit of magic in the music.